Welcome to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Cooper-Smith, a doctorate-prepared nurse practitioner. And every week on this show, we explore the science of living well through conversations with health and wellness experts. In a world filled with conflicting advice, my goal isn't to tell you what to think, it's to ask questions, explore different perspectives, and help you make informed decisions about your health. Now, today I'm excited to welcome back today's guest, Melissa Marcum. Melissa is a professional astrologer and founder of Melissa Marcum Vibrational Astrology and Vibrational Vitality. Melissa joined us for episode 16, way back in the beginning of the show. And last time we talked about how astrology can be used in conjunction with biohacking. We talked a little about the birth chart, but I was so fascinated about the birth chart, I really wanted to bring you back and talk about it some more. So welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Dr. Amy. I'm really excited to talk about it. I love talking about astrology. So
yeah,
any opportunity, I'm here.
Yeah, and we're grateful for it. So what is vibrational astrology?
So vibrational astrology is different than traditional Western astrology or Vedic astrology or Hellenistic astrology, because it's really about the vibration between the planets, and that causes a frequency. So there's 360 frequencies in the vibration chart. So it really gets to the soul level of who a person is, what they think internally, how they operate, how they appear in community. You're going to get information that you don't necessarily get in the regular Western chart. It's a lot more specific. It's evidence-based. We research it based on the population. It changes. So it's very much more scientific. And I have a feeling it's going to be the way people read charts in the future.
Oh, cool. So it's kind of up and coming as we learn more.
Yeah. I'm getting certified next year. I do a class every Tuesday and Thursday from 7 to 9. I actually study with the founder's ex-wife, who helped him organize it and put the school together, Avalon School. So it's nice because she understands the core of it, and I feel very lucky to be training with her.
Oh, it's fascinating. We never stop learning, right?
Oh yeah, no, I'm always taking courses. I'm always talking. I'm always learning. And I mean, that's the fascinating thing about astrology is you never get bored. So.
Yeah. So when we first met, you actually did my birth chart. So
I did.
Yeah. And I found it fascinating. So what is a birth chart?
So a birth chart is your planetary alignment. So how everything, planets, asteroids, all things cosmic are arranged at the time you were born, because everything means something. And the nice thing about it is no two charts are exactly alike, not even identical twins that were only born minutes apart. They have different birth charts. So it's very unique to the individual.
Yeah. So speaking of minutes apart, I found out since I first met with you that my chart was actually off by 5 minutes. And you just kind of that does make a difference. And that's amazing to me that just a few minutes makes a difference in someone's reading.
It is. It depends on what degree the planet's at. If it's at, it goes up to 29, from 0 to 29. So if the planet's at like 1 or 2 degrees, it can change houses depending on the minutes. So it really all depends. That's why it's so important to have the exact birth time. And I know for a lot of people that's not always possible.
Now, let's say somebody doesn't know their exact time of birth. Can you still work with them on their birth chart?
I could do a rectification chart, which I'm going to go back and find out all the important dates in their life. And we can put together a pretty good, not with absolute exact accuracy, but we can get there. And also, I also tell somebody to meditate on it. You know, what feels right. You can ask your higher self, is this number and feel right? And I've gotten a lot of success with that as well.
Wow. So when we look at the chart, what are we looking for?
So everybody reads the chart different.
Mm.
The main thing I would say that I read in a traditional Western chart is something called the lunar nodes. They are elliptical points in the sky. They are very karmic energy. So the way that a person comes in, it's called the lunar nodes. And you come in on the south node, which is more moon energy.
Mm-hmm.
Think of moon being maternal, family, mother, right? That's the first, your first, when you're a baby, you're nurtured by your mom. So we're trying to get to the sun, which is the north node, the true node, the North Star. It's opposite energy. So for example, if I'm looking at your chart, and another thing too you have to consider too is where the nodes are, because there's 12 houses and each house means something very different. So I'm taking a very, I know I've done this for you before, but I'm looking at your south node being in Cancer in the 6th house. You have to look to what is it next to. Yours is next to Saturn. It's at your south node's at 6 degrees, your Saturn's at 1 degree. They're both in Cancer. That tells me that first of all, you have a lot of family maternal energy that you come in with. You know, you're a nurturing person. You want to. That's something that comes very natural to you. In the 6th house, I would say it is about your job, because 6th house represents daily life, job, you know, what the person does every day. And it's next to Saturn. So these are very big lessons for you throughout your lifetime. Saturn is where we learn lessons. I'm sure that there was lessons from a young age with family. Family was probably the teacher in a lot of ways. And I mean, not to get so down and personal, because I want to keep it very generic for this talk. And so it goes to the 12th house. So you have the north node, which is in Capricorn. Capricorn is the opposite of Cancer. And so I would guess that you're on your spiritual journey. You're all things, it's really about surrendering to that and not worrying about all the little tasks and different things at the day, and just kind of, pardon my French, let that shit go. And, you know, and that really affects how you want to be seen in your career. And it's right next to Black Moon Lilith, which is our shadow side, is in Capricorn. So my guess is this has been a very big journey for you as far as being seen, and being seen as a spiritual being that can just surrender to all of this. How does that feel to you?
Yeah, so the whole journey of doing the podcast and interviewing different people and just talking about different things that I don't know much about. And so it's been a lot of fun exploring that part of the journey. Um,
Yeah,
and it's interesting. We're just at a place in career where things are just shifting a little bit. So it's just kind of fun, and it's touching. When I first read about the Capricorn rising, and I just had a lot to do with my profession, and I just, it really resonated with me um,
yeah.
on that. So I think it's pretty cool. Like I feel like the chart's a very interesting point for introspection for somebody to be
They are.
like, right, because sometimes you'll be like, no, I don't think that's quite right, but then you can kind of, look at it from a different perspective and kind of come up with something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm going to look at first. And then I'm going to see where your sun is. Your sun is where you shine. Your sun's at Leo in the eighth house. It's at 22 degrees Leo in the eighth house. So you're a person that, it's funny because Leo traditionally has been the sign of being the actor and bold and out there. But what we discovered in the vibration chart is there's a lot of shy Leos. And I feel like that with your energy, you had to work out of being that,
Yep.
of being the shy, of truly getting into something that was really heart centered that you can really talk about and just love. And because it's in the eighth house, you like to go down deep. It's about, you know, digging down deep to understanding the stuff that people don't necessarily talk about, the psychology of things, going deeper than very surface level, trying to find answers that are not necessarily easy to find. And because it's sitting next to the vertex, so vertexes are fated encounters, I feel like that probably something led you here. Something, someone, a situation, however that played out for you to be here, right here, right now, in all of this. It wasn't something that you set out to do. It was something that either someone or just something amazing just said, okay, I wanna go down deeper with all of this. So that's how it kind of all works together. We can go around. I look at every part of it is important. Another thing I would say for you is you have Chiron. Chiron is the wounded healer. I look at Chiron, it's a very important part of our chart because it is where our wounds are.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a whole story about Chiron in Greek mythology that he was a mortal, half man, half horse, centaur. And he had to learn how to overcome his wounds because he was immortal. So it really is about understanding and overcoming our wounds. Yours is an Aries in the third house. That tells me that for a long time, you probably had a hard time speaking up. Something with, you know, understanding your voice and understanding that you have things to say and being very confident about that and stepping into your power, stepping into that Aries. Aries is about self. So the good thing is that Chiron is now in Taurus. So typically Chiron stays in a sign for about, it changes signs every 18 months. I'm sorry, the lunar nodes change signs every 18 months. Chiron stays in a sign for anywhere from 6 to 8 years. I believe in Aries it's about 8 years. So think about how you have worked with that energy over the last 8 years.
Right.
And how where you were then and where you are now.
So does Chiron happen to be most prominent at a certain age of a person?
I look at the degrees, and I assert that with sometimes age. Yours is at 20 degrees. So I would ask you if I was doing a reading, did something happen early in life, some sort of wound, you know, where you couldn't speak up or, you know, and sometimes that is the case. Other times it's, you know, and it could be for that time in the person's life, it could have been something really wounding. But when you look back on it now, it wasn't really that big of a deal. So it just all depends.
Well, it's interesting, and just to the if we believe in coincidences, which I don't think we do, but this episode's actually going to air on my 53rd birthday, which I did not plan, which I think is really cool. But yeah, I think it's interesting that we're doing the podcast, finding our voice this way, and that's
Oh yeah.
just part of the journey there. And then people are actually surprised to find out that I was actually extremely shy as a young person. So.
which
which they
goes
wouldn't
back
know now, right? But yeah,
which goes back to the evidence of vibrational astrology
yeah,
is the reason why I've been led to study vibrational astrology, because it is evidence-based. For a
yeah.
long time, we saw Leos as being very bold. They're the
Hmm.
actors. They are the, the people on stage, the people that are very uh, dynamic. That's not always true. There's a lot of shy Leos
Yeah, yeah,
that want to kind of be in their shell.
yeah. Depends on the situation, though, I'd say.
True,
Yeah.
true. You're still a fire sign, so
Oh,
yeah.
absolutely. All right, we're going to pause for a break from our sponsor. You're listening to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. I'm Dr. Amy Coopersmith, and my guest today is Melissa Marcum. Before the break, we were talking about birth charts, in particular my birth chart, and we talked a little
Mhm.
bit, to give you guys some insight about me, which is kind of fun. But now there's so much going on in the world and the universe right now that's affecting everybody. So what's going on?
Yeah, so tomorrow's a big day.
Ah,
It is a new moon solar eclipse in Leo.
ooh,
And it's also, so the nodes change. They never change in your birth chart. They always are what they are in your birth chart, but cosmically they change every 18 months. So tomorrow is we have the Leo Aquarius nodes coming into play, which is going to be very interesting because it's not going to be about self anymore. Globally, it's going to be about community.
mm,
And it's not going to be about the rich and famous, so to speak. It's going to be about what's best for the community. So tomorrow's solar eclipse new moon is at Leo at 22 degrees Leo, or I'm sorry, 20 degrees Leo, and it hits Greenland first, the way it's
mm-hmm.
going to land. So what I say to my clients is, where's Leo in your chart? You have Leo in your chart. It rules your eighth house. So how it works is a solar eclipse, typically the energy lasts from about 6 to 18 months.
Hmm.
And in that time, you can notice some very dramatic changes. I think you're going through a very big transformation period right now because it's in the eighth house of transformation. And again, those fated encounters can come in because it's conjuncting, meaning it's very close degree wise when I say conjuncting. So I think there could be some really good changes for you.
Nice.
I don't know if you feel that or if you're looking if that's something internally, but that's the first thing that popped up to me. It's like, wow, I where and a number of things. It's whatever that means to you. If you're transforming from one energy to another.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely think there are some things in the works that
Yeah.
will be revealed soon.
Yeah. So if you have a sun in Leo, if you have an ascendant in Leo, if you have your nodes in Leo and Aquarius, these are some very big changes for you. I mean, for people, not for you
Right.
specifically,
Right.
but for people. Um, I'll give you a story. When the nodes a few years ago, back in 23, 24, were in Aries and Libra, I met somebody, and my south node is in Libra, my north node is in Aries, and I ended up getting married this year. So it was
Congratulations.
like over that period, that was a very big change
Yeah.
to not be with somebody in a marriage for almost 19 years. So that's the kind of dramatic shifts that could happen.
Nice. So are they usually positive shifts for people, or could it be maybe some upsetting things?
I mean, I look at it this way. There's nothing positive or negative.
Mm,
It's wherever you need the work. Even the worst things that happen to people can end up being the best things that to happen to people. What they think in that time of despair They can look back and say, wow, if that never happened, I wouldn't be here doing this
Yeah.
right now.
Yep, that is so
So,
true. And it's so hard to think about it that way when you're going through something,
yeah.
but almost always there's something better that's going to happen.
Yeah, and there's, I'm going through some really interesting energy this year. I'm going through Saturn return, and Saturn returns to the place that um, where it is in the birth chart.
Mm.
So it happens about every 29 years.
Mm.
And I turned 57 this year, and it's the shadow period. But oh my gosh, it has just kicked my butt. And I
Oh.
thought, as an astrologer, I was like, I got this. I got this. But I can see the impact of Saturn, and Saturn really is the teacher. And so when you're going through it, it can be some very difficult energy, but it's also energy that if you haven't done the work the first time, it's going to hit you
Mm.
harder. And I feel like when you're self-actualized and you understand yourself, you can really work with the energy in actually a very positive way, even though it doesn't feel good at the time of you going through it. So
Does having the knowledge that you have as an astrologer, does that help you navigate some of this, or are you struggling like the
um,
rest of us?
I think it helps, but I'm still human and I'm
Yeah.
still going
Yeah.
through it. I'm still going through it. Even though I know logically what's happening,
Mm.
I'm still having to feel it.
Yeah. Yeah, that
And
makes
just
sense.
it's kind of like being a doctor, right? You have all this immense knowledge, but when you're going through it as a human, sickness or pain, it's like, yeah, you know what it is, but it doesn't alleviate always the symptoms. I still think you have
Yeah.
to go through the emotional hardship of things.
Yeah.
So,
Nurses and doctors make terrible patients.
yeah, exactly.
Maybe even worse.
Exactly.
Yeah. So,
Right.
so there's a lot of other stuff happening in the universe too, or at least that's going to be happening soon. So what else is
I
going on?
mean, we have so much happening. This is Year of the Fire Horse.
Mm.
So it's almost like we're running from one thing to another. I mean, I think the biggest thing that has already happened, it was earlier this year, was this Saturn Neptune conjunction at 0 degree Aries. That really said that was really a planetary shift, that we're doing a planetary reset where we're starting from zero.
Mm.
And so, what does that mean? I see a lot of structures coming down. I think we're going into the fourth industrial revolution, which is the onset of artificial intelligence, the onset of new jobs, the onset of maybe a new government. And all of this energy works together. Um, Uranus going into Gemini back in June, huge. If we trace that back historically, every time it's been in Gemini, which is every 84 years, a major war happens, a major thing happens. So it's a shift of consciousness, it's a shift of energy. And, people are scared about it. But I always say, but what did the people do, during the first industrial revolution, during the second
Mhm.
industrial revolution? There'll be jobs and different things that come out of this, or a new way of life, or a new way of being out of all this.
Yeah, so there are energies and things happening, but is this predetermined that things are going to happen, or just kind of a little push toward these things?
I think the energy happens. I think the consciousness depends collectively on where the human evolution is at.
Hmm.
In other words, as more people are waking up, I believe things are changing. Um, and it's a generational pull too, right? And I'll explain that.
Yeah.
So I looked at Pluto. Pluto is a generational planet. It changes signs every 20 years. So every group inside of that has a different, that they're in a different sign. So for example, in your chart, it is in Libra. So for your generation, it was always about, relationships and how to get along and everything Libra, money, different things like that. For the next generation, for the millennials, it was in Scorpio. So it was like total transformation. If you notice, most millennials don't do things like their parents, they raise kids differently, they work differently. You have the generation behind them, Generation Z. They have Pluto in Sagittarius. Their belief system's completely different. Think about what the uprising of everything that's going on in the world today. So each generation has its own unique signature of what they came here to do, I believe. And it depends on where they are consciously, how much change is going to happen. The way typically it's happened is everything lands about in the middle, but I definitely think we're going to see some big changes. Absolutely. They're already happening.
Oh yeah, you can kind of feel it, and you can feel the, I don't know, fear or unease from people.
Yeah, because you don't
change
know.
is uncomfortable. Yeah.
I would say this, that most things need to break down before something new comes along. It's break down now. Now with Pluto, it does it very slowly. It doesn't happen overnight. But when you look back on it, you're going to be like, yeah, wow, that did really change.
Yeah.
So I think I tell all my clients, sit in discernment with everything. Don't fear it. Witness it, but don't get so involved with it that it makes you anxious or, on things that you can control. Yeah. You can just control the way you look at it and control your own energy.
Yep. That's good advice. So we're almost out of time, but how can people learn more about you, get their own reading, and get in touch?
Yeah, so I basically merged the two companies together. It's Melissa Marcum's Vibrational Vitality. I wanted to put everything together.
Perfect.
I was kind of, working out of two companies before, but I decided to kind of merge everything together. MMastrovibes.com is my website. I'm all over social media, Facebook, Instagram. So, yeah, if they just want a reading, if they want to understand more about their health, if they want to just a simple, hey, I just need somebody to listen to me, I have it pretty much laid out for whatever they desire at that time.
Nice. Well, thank you again for joining me. I really enjoyed our talk today.
Me too. Thank you so much, Dr. Amy.
And thanks to our listeners for tuning in to Energize and Revitalize with Dr. Amy. Do you have insights from this show? Send me an email at radiantpodcast2025@gmail.com. Check out past episodes on YouTube, and we're also on Apple Podcasts and all your favorite platforms. I'll be back next Saturday morning at 7:30 with more expert insights and practical strategies to help you live a radiant and healthy life. Until then, stay curious, stay informed, and keep energizing your life.